was the decision to disband it. And he indicated also that as late as February 2025, the PKTT was still continuing to do its work and had not been formally disbanded. And that was according to his knowledge. So this evidence differs very greatly to what Minister Mchunu told us, because he said that the president had supported his decision. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond to that. But not too long, please.
Okay, Honorable Chair and members, I can still repeat. The Minister Mchunu was influenced to write that letter by bad people. He must admit. If he doesn't admit before South Africans, he must admit at least to his boss. He was influenced. That which he presented here was trying to justify the actions, but he was influenced.
So we pushed him, because that brings me to the next question. We pushed him on that, and I'm sure you watched his testimony, and he was very clear that it was his own decision and that he has taken responsibility for it. So do you have any other supporting evidence that he told the committee that it was his decision? So you saying your view is that he was pushed. Besides you having a view, do you have any concrete or evidence that can, or where we can go to get that information that he was pushed?
Well, when you assess the relationship that he has built with these people and the meetings that he's held, Jeremy Sikit at one stage, she writes about how the minister was talking about the border issues and transferring of functions to the PMA. This is Mosikiti saying that. I was not in those meetings. So, but when you assess all these activities that were happening, then you cannot help but to reach a conclusion that these three things listed in the letter were not coincidental. They were strategically decided upon on the 31st of December, when the National Commission is on leave, that it must be commissioned like that. The very biggest one for me is that now this thing has come out. Now there's search and seizure of these equipment, these gadgets that they used. Then the minister does not avail himself. The team was sitting at his property at Matlambandov. The team told me that we know he's inside here. Can we jump and go in or break this case? I said, leave him. There's no need for you to break in and go and do anything, because you're going to cause a problem. Eventually later, he brought these gadgets. But guess what? They are wiped off. And the team had to then go deeper to to retrieve this that has been deleted. They uncovered these things that were deleted. So you then ask yourself a question, but why would a minister wipe off information from a state property? What is there to hide? So it is those things, and one of the things I said there, that it was Vusi Pikoli that he communicated with. And we are not seeing to date any communication between him and Vusi Pikoli on the day. What we have is between him and the Chief of Staff, on record from the downloads that were retrieved. So again, it's the work study documents, the cost factor has been disputed, but the CFO and the investigating work study officers were not invited here, but National Commission says it was written to him, this work study, not to the minister. The Act does not empower the minister to interfere with the structures of the police and so forth. So there's so many things been presented here before this ad hoc committee that proves that minister's reasoning that he put in, it was after he's taken a decision, trying to justify. One of them was the president. President has distanced himself. So we can't help but conclude. For me, where I'm sitting, he might have been part of the squad that was doing bad, but I still strongly believe, I give him the benefit of doubt, that the minister was influenced. Being new in the department, doesn't understand much, like many leaders, they get captured by these members and they make them to do things that they shouldn't do.
So we wouldn't at this stage have access to the messages that were downloaded on his gadgets?
Well, most of them are with the team that's investigating in KZN.
Okay.
That is dealing with the case, and I know in Gauteng as well. But so KZN is the one that is, I'm sure, through the engagement.
And who's in charge there at KZN? Would we be able to access that?
There is a Brigadier is a lead investigator, but he works with the prosecutors from the NPA in KZN. So, as I said, I'm a complainant, so I don't get deeper into understand exactly. They just brief me. I talk about things when they update me about the status. But otherwise, I don't necessarily know what they do and where are they. I would have wanted them to be in court in December already, but they have not been in court.
So I think just as far as our legal team and evidence leaders, perhaps we should look into if we can access that, Chair. Thank you. We want to move on to the movement of dockets because I'm just a tad confused here. So when you were here the last time, you said you only found out about the dockets when they were already moved, right? And then, just open this thing that's just closed. When they were already moved. So we've had the National Commissioner, we've had Kamalo, Lieutenant General Kamalo, even Sabia and Sentimule say that they did not communicate with you regarding the movement of the dockets. And I might have misunderstood what you had said earlier, Lieutenant General. Did you know about the move that the dockets were gone, or you only knew they were gone after they had already left?
I became aware when Jerasin Tumule called me and tell me that dockets are in Pretoria and you need to come to KZN.
Okay, so it was how I understood it. We still don't have an explanation, and none of them could give us an explanation, and including you. Why would your team not tell you that they were moving the dockets, including Kamalo?
Kumalo. I said before, and I'm saying again, I was upset with him because the team was reporting to him on the chain of command. So the team was not talking to me directly on day-to-day. They'll talk via him to come to me, updates and everything. When I want to engage with the team, I go via him. So when he felt this pressure in the head office, I think he felt that it might as well just comply with this thing now, Sentumul and them are involved. And he forgot, he omitted to talk to me about it. So when I became aware, I told him to give me a statement to explain that. And he knows that I was very upset with him, what he did.
So even none of the members in your team knew that the files, or rather the dockets were going, even to just even send you a message to say, hey, Chief, they're coming to take these dockets?
Well, we have not built that relationship of the members that are going to bypass a common structure and talk to someone else.
So they discipline like that.
Yeah, well, that's why they've been successful in what they're doing, because they follow the protocols that we've established. So, and we try to support them as much as we can. But they are free to talk about grievances that they have, but on work-related matters, even if they need resources. That's why at one stage I took vehicles that were reserved for the king. Because they did not have cars, I took those cars that were parked and gave it to them to work with.
Just to touch on just quickly, because this is based on your first testimony and what we've heard later on from other testimonies. So you know that both Honorable Collard Barnard and Honorable Adams have been witnesses here. When you gave testimony here before, you were very firm that if you continued being pushed, that you can come with more receipts. Do you still hold that view about our members of parliament being involved?
Yes, I can, Honourable Member. That's why I said before, that when I spoke today, that our political leaders become victims themselves because of intelligence. So as much as the members might think good, I spoke about Mr. Adams was here. He might think he's doing what is good for what he's doing, not knowing that he's actually been used to do wrong. So the evidence then is left behind that, okay, this one did this one did that. That's why I cited some examples about Mr. Adams, how he ended up at the prison in Devon, police officers that were part of it, the blue light motorcades and so forth. It's evidence that we did not present before the ad hoc committee, so which we can present if we are pushed to do that.
So do you maintain that both the members of parliament that we had as witnesses, they were just being used unknowingly and they were not deliberately part of any sinister activities?
I like to, all the ones that we mentioned, Mr. Adams, Ms. Cora Barnard and everyone else, they receive information from intelligence that tells them about things. And then they take a responsibility of acting on it without realizing what is the ultimate motive. That's why I said earlier, a member is released by court with a bail condition that says go back to work. But the members of crime intelligence calls the honorable member and say, these members are not supposed to be here. What happens after that? The honorable member writes, she takes a pause of saying that National Commission, that means is violating the law. When the response comes, she only learned that time that, oh, these members were wrong. But it's after the fact. At that time, when she made that noise, guess what happened? The National Commission removed the general from crime intelligence at that time because of that noise. He removed that person and said, okay, go and sit somewhere else until the dust settles before we bring it back. Well, some of the things that the members are going to talk about are legit. They are wrong things we're doing. Well, let me give a classic example against about the same general we're talking about. He was arrested twice for different cases. The latter one was with the crime intelligence team about the appointment. But the first one, he was alone on some questionable behavior that he had. But when the members are making noise about that, I cannot say they are wrong because it must be answers. I also had question marks about it. I said, how do you interact like this that leads into such thing? But such must be separated. You understand? You mustn't say because this one is wrong here, it means it's wrong everywhere. So it is that which members get caught. They get caught into such things. Surely, Mr. Adams, I don't think he even knew where the offices of the Inspector General of Intelligence is situated.
So
I don't think he knows where Orlando is. If it was not the members that drove him to get there.
but you maintain that they're not intentionally involved.
I agree.
They've just been used. So what I'm trying to say is that they get information and they act on it. So it's not that they're involved in setting up.
No, not in the planning.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
they become
That's what I
enablers.
want to know. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the same approach as said about the minister.
All
They
right.
become enablers of the people who are doing wrong
That's
by
what-
using
okay.
them.
Okay. So they're not involved in the planning of whatever is going on.
I
behind
don't
the scenes.
believe, we don't have evidence to
don't think,
prove that
okay.
they're part of the planning
All
to
right.
some degree.
So that clarifies a lot. Honorable Adams, from what you know, is he under surveillance?
I'm not at crime intelligence, so I'd rather not talk
But
about
you know
it.
things.
Yes, I do, but I can't talk about the
you can't
operations
tell
of
us. Okay.
intelligence.
And then you said he got blue lights. Who from who?
I think there was an abuse of resources at the time by the member, which was facilitated by a police officer for that matter, for him to land in Durban,
Who was the police officer? Do you
a
know?
cousin of Robert McBride, who is a police officer in KZN, who arranged with Mr. McBride to be picked up by Metro Police from the airport and driven on blue light
Metro Police.
into the prison. And he arrives there, he signed as a member of parliament. The prison believes that he's on an official duties and he leaves with blue lights back again to the airport.
So how can we get confirmation about this besides you telling us this?
I have it in
Right
black and
to
white.
Metro Police.
I have
Beg your pardon?
statements, I have entry into the prison, I have statements of the members that drove him.
Okay, we know that he went there because that's not disputed. I'm talking about the blue lights.
There's statements on that already.
Sworn
There's
statement.
a criminal case open against Mr. Adams. Because honorable chair members, and again, what became known, what made Merity House and many people start making noise, including Honorable Adams, about PKTT and the case of Senzo Mchunu. The obsession with General Khumalo and wanting to manipulate that everything is about General Khumalo, that blinded them. Khumalo arrested the criminals that killed Mchunu, that planned and organized and killed Mchunu. He arrested them. Khumalo discovered that the resources that were used came from crime intelligence. A parallel investigation is running for that purpose. But Khumalo is blamed for the death of Mchunu. So because their members are trying to drive a different narrative. So, and then the member of parliament, Mr. Adams, doesn't pause to analyze this. Had he done that, he was going to get the facts and be able to realize that I'm now interfering with the police operation by going to this criminal that is convicted and getting some statements and trying to paint a different picture. So these are just but one example of many of those instances.
So just on the blue lights again, you said that you've got a sworn statement.
That's correct.
So is there anything else? Because Lieutenant General, the number of sworn statements we have here with one person saying the sky was blue on Sunday and another one saying it was orange on Sunday at 12 o'clock, it's going to blow our heads off when we go into deliberations. So is there anything else that we can access or you have access to?
Well, these statements I'm talking about are part of the criminal investigation. So I won't be able to bring it here. They're in a docket, but I was briefed about it.
No problem. The apartment you went to at the Pearls, whose apartment is it?
Well, I think the person that assessed me to go, I won't give his name, but he was renting that apartment himself.
So why didn't you meet at the Oyster Box? Because they have meeting rooms there. Why did you decide to go to the
The
Pearls?
plan was to control the space where we're going to meet this guy so that you can be able to dominate what's happening there. You can't go to Oyster Box and sweep.
You mean you?
I beg your pardon?
Who's we? You mean you?
Me and Gerald Kumalo.
Oh, okay.
So we plan it together to say, find a space, a place that no one else can come in so that you can be able to do what we can
You're
do.
a bit nervous or unsure about what could happen.
We already knew who's Kat. So I'm meeting Kat already knowing who is this person you are meeting. So you can then therefore not risk not to keep records of this meeting because it must build an investigation.
And did you actually record the meeting or you just said it was just sort of because you haven't given us the recording?
Yeah, well, I have not given you a recording, and I'm glad that the meeting, I've explained and I've disclosed the meeting or what was the content of the meeting, and I did not want to take whatever that we did there with intelligence and give it to Parliament. But for me, I was saying to him, I said to him that we dominated the space, so whatever activities that took place in that place, it's not claiming to be drinking. Once a criminal investigation unfolds, there will be evidence on it.
So besides what you told us today about what happened in the meeting and what you had written in the SMS or the message that you sent, there was other stuff that happened that you can't tell us.
No, there's no other stuff. We came in there, we sat and we spoke. It was only about.
And you spoke about what it is you reported to us today. There wasn't anything else.
Everything that we spoke about is what I wrote in that message.
So why wouldn't you give us the recording as well?
No, well, remember, I said some of the things when we do from the intelligence point of view might not necessarily be admissible in any investigation. So the how part and all that is with Gerald Kumalo. So I don't want to, because it is them that had to prepare the room, intelligence to prepare that room for us to meet.
Okay. Why did you believe that Mr. Mklala needed to be protected? That because you didn't tell us initially about the meeting, why did you think he needed to be protected?
Oh, no, he is the one who said to me, the names that he's giving me are people that are dangerous, and he wouldn't want those names to be known. And he wouldn't want them to know that he's the one that told me about them, because he gave me their properties where they're located. Now I know Steve Motsume stays in Waterfall Estate. Now I know Steve Motsume owned the property there down Sentin side. I know Spia's properties. So the fact that he was disclosing such personal information about the people that, according to him, are heavily involved in the wrong, that they might harm him. That's why I wouldn't have. The only person that I could tell out of that was a team that is investigation. That's why I sent Kumalo, this is information, take it further, which they did. So the only time I'm mentioning this, in actual fact, remember, I did not even say it in this committee, nor at Matlang. The names of the people and the things that we spoke about, I wrote that to Sinon, and I copied that to the Senior Council. It ended there. But Sinona took it to the Madlanga Commission and was forced to go and pronounce on that.
Why were you confident that he was not managing you? So what if him and Lieutenant General Sabia had plotted? So go and approach Lieutenant General Mkwanazi, and then you must give him information, because what we need from him, the most important, or their objective, was that they needed you to intervene on a payment of a tender. So why were you confident that it wasn't them just managing you?
No, the intention of him coming to me was tender. He was made clear before he even arrives. that he's frustrated with his tender. So I knew that upfront. But our worry was knowing the person that he is. We cannot risk it. Tomorrow I'm going to meet him. He's going to take pictures of that, or someone else in the corner somewhere take pictures of our meeting, and that pictures is used for wrong things. So let's control and dominate the place where we're meeting.
But you're not answering the question, Lieutenant General. Why were you confident that he was not managing you when he was giving you that information, and that him and Lieutenant Sabia were not in cahoots on how they should engage you?
But what I'm saying, or remember, is that right at the onset, the intention of coming to me was because of his frustration with his contract. That one I knew right at the onset. But to make me help him to meet up with Jordan Hall, he's going to give information. It's the information that I did not trust.
Okay.
It's an information that he was going to give that we were not 100% sure whether he's going to be telling us the honest truth, or he wanted to capture us or me into his web. That's why we said we identify the venue, we dominate the venue, he must come to our place that we are controlling.
Did you threaten Major General Sanoa that you were going to inform Steve, what is it?
Steve Mchunu.
Mchunu, yeah.
I wrote that in a WhatsApp message.
It was only in the message. There was nothing else.
I never spoke to him after that. I was actually making him aware that his friend that he brought to me, he's the one who spoke about the meeting. Now that he had introduced the meeting, the content of the meeting is going to become known. And when he's